teenager walks down the sidewalk of the city, her footsteps echoing with a strange, hollow thud. She stops at a vibrant garden, where a row of red roses stands in full bloom. She reaches out a pale, thin hand and gently brushes her fingers against a leading petal. Instantly, the deep red bleeds into a sickly, bruised gray. The stem wilts, curling into a black, brittle husk that looks like charred bone. The rot spreads like a wildfire through the soil, making the ground hiss. Within seconds, the entire garden is a graveyard of shriveled stalks and gray ash. She smiles, and her teeth look jagged and yellow, far too old for her young face. She draws a deep breath, and as she does, the color in her cheeks brightens, while the towering trees lining the street shed their leaves in a sudden, dead heap. She moves on, leaving a trail of gray dust behind her that smells like an open grave. A bird lands on a fence nearby, chirps a frantic, broken note, and then falls over, its body desiccating into a mummified shell before it even hits the pavement. No one sees the life being stolen. They only see a girl in a green dress. But the air around her grows ice cold, and the smell of fresh spring air is replaced by the suffocating scent of a stagnant swamp. She is a void, a walking hunger. She looks at a towering oak tree, and her eyes turn pitch black. The harvest has only just begun. Gabriel stands in the center of the park, his boots crunching on what should be green grass, but is now brittle, blackened straw. He wears his black leather jacket and his signature mask, his eyes scanning the dead landscape for clues. In 24 hours, the city's famous gardens have turned into a wasteland of rot. He kneels, touching a dead vine. It crumbles into a fine powder that burns his fingertips. "This isn't a disease," Gabriel mutters, his voice low behind his mask. He pulls a specialized scanner from his jacket pocket. The readings are off the charts. The bioelectric energy is being ripped straight out of the roots. He looks up and sees the girl sitting on a bench a few yards away. She looks innocent, swinging her legs, but the wooden bench beneath her is beginning to groan and crack as if aging 100 years in a minute. He approaches her, his movements cautious and sharp. "The plants don't seem to like you much," Gabriel says. The girl looks up, and for a split second, her skin ripples like water, showing a glimpse of something ancient and wrinkled underneath. "I just think they're tired, sir. Everything gets tired eventually." Gabriel notices a small potted violet in her hand. As she speaks, the petals turn to oily black slime and drip onto her dress. He realizes her shadow is a tall, hunched monster with claws. Gabriel follows her through the residential streets, staying in the shadows. Every yard she passes turns into a desert. Hedges brown and collapse into heaps of dust. Lawns die in the exact shape of her footprints, leaving scorched earth behind. He realizes she isn't just killing for fun. She is a parasite feeding on the city's heart. The more she takes, the more the air feels thin, sour, and hard to breathe. He intercepts her at the edge of the city's oldest forest. "Stop right there," Gabriel commands, his hand resting on a heavy device at his belt. The girl turns, and this time, the mask of youth is failing. Her skin looks like wet parchment, stretched too tight over a jagged skull. "You are a long way from home." "Which?" Gabriel says, his eyes locked on her. She laughs, a sound like dry bones grinding together in a jar. "I have no home. I only have hunger. This city is so full of green, so much life to drink. Why shouldn't I take it? It's wasted on people who don't even look at the trees." She reaches out and grabs a massive pine tree. The bark turns to ash instantly, and a low, guttural moan seems to come from the wood itself. Gabriel realizes that if she hits the heart of the forest, the city's lungs will be ripped out. "I can't let you empty this place," Gabriel says, stepping into her path. "The witch drops the act entirely. Her back cracks loudly as it hunches, and her fingers grow long, jagged, and gray. Her voice drops into a gravelly, demonic snarl. You are just a man in a leather jacket. What can you do against the hunger of 500 years? I have outlived forests. I have outlived kings. You are just a snack for the road. She lunges at him with terrifying speed, her hand outstretched like a claw. Gabriel dodges, feeling the air turn to ice, where her fingers pass, freezing the fabric of his jacket. He pulls a containment sphere from his inner pocket. You think I'm here to fight you? I'm here to put you in a cage. He throws the sphere, and it explodes into a grid of searing blue light surrounding her in a glowing box. She screams, a sound that shatters the windows of a nearby shed. The light doesn't hurt her skin, but it creates a total vacuum. No life can enter the circle, and no energy can leave. She claws at the glowing walls, her youthful face cracking and peeling away in wet chunks to reveal the gray hag beneath. I need to feed. I am starving. She howls. Gabriel watches as the grass outside the circle remains green while the earth inside her cage turns to poisonous black salt. The witch begins to wither in real time. Without the constant flow of life from the plants, her stolen youth evaporates like mist. Her hair falls out in clumps. Her dress hangs loose on a bony, skeletal frame that rattles when she moves. She is a creature of rot and ancient spite, her eyes glowing with a feral, dying light. Please, she croaks, her throat sounding like sandpaper. Just a leaf. Give me a single blade of grass, or I will turn to dust. Gabriel stands firm, his masked face reflecting the cold blue light of the cage. You've taken enough. Every flower you touched is a ghost now. Every tree you drained is a skeleton. You don't get to feed anymore. The witch collapses, her fingernails breaking as she scratches at the salt. The ground beneath her begins to crack with a sound like thunder. Since she can't suck life from the outside, her own dark magic begins to eat her from the inside out. Gabriel checks his watch. The city is in a panic over the dead zones, but the forest is safe for now. He needs to finish this before the containment field flickers. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a small metallic seed. It pulses with a pure, blinding green light that makes the witch scream and cover her face. This is the one thing you can't handle, he says. Pure, unfiltered life. Mas. The seed hits the black salt at the witch's feet and explodes into a violent, aggressive bloom of green vines. They grow with supernatural speed, thick and muscular, wrapping around her limbs like snakes. The witch screams in a pitch that makes the ground vibrate. To her, this surge of life is like pouring acid into her veins. She spent her life draining others, and now, life is being forced back into her rotting shell. It's too much. It burns. She shrieks as the vines grow into her mouth and eyes. The vines don't kill her. They bind her and use her as a battery. They pull the stolen, dark energy out of her lungs and transform it, pushing it back into the earth. Gabriel watches as the witch's form begins to merge with the foliage. She is being recycled by the very nature she tried to destroy. The cage begins to hum with massive power. The air in the forest suddenly feels heavy and rich with oxygen. The brown needles on the nearby pines start to turn a deep, healthy green in a wave of restoration. Gabriel steps back as the vines form a thick, emerald cocoon, pulsing like a heart. The witch's screams are muffled now, sounding like the rustling of wind through thick leaves. She is becoming the very thing she hunted. The light of the containment field fades as the sun finally breaks over the horizon. Where the witch once stood, there is now a massive, terrifyingly beautiful tree. Its bark is white like bone, its leaves are silver, and its flowers are a deep, glowing violet that seems to pulse with a faint heartbeat. It is a living prison, a monument of wood and trapped soul. Gabriel walks up to the new tree. He can hear a faint, muffled scratching coming from inside the trunk. The sound of the witch forever trying to claw her way out of the wood. The tree is her punishment. She wanted life, and now she is life, forced to provide shade and air to the city she tried to kill. Gabriel places a hand on the bark and feels the witch's muffled rage vibrating against his palm. The mystery of the flower girl will become a local legend, a ghost story told to keep people from wandering the woods at night. Gabriel adjusts his mask, his silhouette dark against the rising sun. He leaves the forest, knowing the hunger is locked away in a cage of roots. As he walks away, a single silver leaf falls from the tree and turns to dust before it hits his shoulder. The balance is restored. But the forest now has a heart that remembers how to hate. Gabriel disappears into the city shadows, moving toward the next nightmare.